Okay, call order. Pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Council activity reports. Paul, you want to start?
Yeah, all I have is the last Thursday's council retreat. That's all I have to report.
Same.
Same.
Quiet times.
Well, I had EDAP last Tuesday, and introduced a couple new members. What's Don's last name?
No.
Don Knoll and Daryl Lindquist, and talked a little bit about downtown rehab and the EDAP loans. And then Wednesday had Green Roof, and their biggest project, some remodeling in the roof and ceiling, and they're putting together their yearly budget. Their budget goes from June to June. And also, I was at the work session on Thursday, and we discussed all the departments' wants and wishes. I think Christmas may come early, but we'll see. Okay, department heads. Dan isn't here. Kirk?
All right. Yeah, to follow up on that, I was with you also at the EDAP meeting, and also you invited me to the Green Roof meeting as well. The other meetings that I had were the downtown library meeting. We talked about hiring the architect to help us search for different financing and funding and grant opportunities, so we'll be talking about that a little bit later today. The downtown meeting as well, we just kind of talked about what the plan is and how we should proceed and how we should move forward. And finally, Sean, Megan, and I went to the League of Minnesota Cities Day on the Hill. We had a chance to meet with our legislators, and we talked to them about bonding, and if we were to be able to do bonding this year, our number one priority is to look at doing a public safety / fire hall. So we'll see if the state goes ahead with any kind of bonding. That's all I have.
Has the chief got anything, or?
Not since last meeting.
Okay, sounds good. Public comment, anybody here? Okay. And at 6:10, we have the Stearns County Attorney. We'll just do that right now.
All right, thank you. I'll be out to Bruton tonight as well. Janelle Kendall, your county attorney, and also by contract, your city attorney. So I'm here to make the annual presentation on the numbers and how that looks. We start with the top page on the letterhead in terms of our diversion program that is mandated by law, and it keeps getting smaller every year because we have less and less first-time offenders. We truly take first-time offenders in that. Law enforcement used to call it catch and release once upon a time, and we completely rewrote it so that the people who are truly first-time offenders can not ever get into the system to begin with. But what we've seen as the crime numbers generally have gone down is that the number of first-time offenders that we're seeing is actually the lowest it's ever been. So most of the people that are coming through our office are not qualifying that because we've dealt with them before, and obviously things didn't get better. You did have 2 juveniles from Painesville that went through that program this year for minor consumption. One was written by the sheriff's office, one was written by Painesville. They did a good job. They completed everything we asked them to do, and they moved on, and they don't have anything on their record. The next part is the red and blue part. That's the misdemeanors that we do for the city. As you can see, you are remarkably consistent from year to year. I think you've been able to hang on to the same officers. It really helps because we honestly see a significant change whenever there's a change in leadership, or even sometimes when one particular officer might come or go. So these are really consistent. The way that the law is being carried out and the kind of activity that they're seeing was obviously almost identical from year to year. So that was very similar. When we go to that last page, though, there with the green are the felony cases that we get in from Painesville. And we did have 2 juvenile felonies this year. You can see those went up a little bit. About half of them are person crimes involving violence or threats of violence, and about half of those are not. I can tell you, though, we are seeing a real difference in the numbers coming into my office because of the legalization of recreational marijuana. We thought that that was going to really change the criminal landscape, and it has, but not in the way we expected. Candidly, a lot of people are home on their couch with the munchies. We're not seeing aggressive behavior out of people that are high on marijuana, and law enforcement knew that would happen. What dramatically changed is our ability to search vehicles. When marijuana was illegal and an officer pulled someone over for whatever legal reason they pulled him over, when the marijuana smoke would roll out of the window as soon as they rolled it down, that gave us a basis to search the car because chances that there were illegal drugs in that car were high. Well, now that's not a basis to search the car. And our drug numbers have gone literally in half. We don't get to look for the marijuana, so we don't find the fentanyl and the cocaine and the methamphetamine, and also in half the drugs, the guns that are laying beside the guns. So our guns, get it straight, you know. Our drug numbers are down in half, and our gun numbers are down in half. And I doubt that there are less drugs and guns out there. So that is a real concern. Obviously, driving under the influence of marijuana, same as driving under the influence of alcohol. We still do those investigations, we still make those arrests. But in terms of actually searching the cars, that's the most obvious and dramatic difference that we are seeing in the numbers right now. Law enforcement is working on, BCA is working on different ways that we'll have to test for marijuana, but you still have to prove it's under the influence. There isn't a certain amount that's legal or not legal like there is for alcohol, so we'll get to that, and I'm sure the science will catch up to it. But we're really seeing that difference in drug prosecutions, and more importantly, from my perspective at this particular point, those guns that are laying beside the drugs that are also in half. So that is what we are seeing at the county attorney's office. The person who does my diversion is retiring after 22 years, and she literally rewrote that program when she first came to work for me. So we'll be looking for somebody to replace her. That person is also working with truancy cases. So if you know of people that would be interested in that kind of work, we hope to have that job posted sometime in the next couple weeks. She'll be with us until the end of April. We would love to get somebody in and have some crossover for her perspective on doing that with the new person. Questions?
I have one question for you and one question for the chief. You said that before marijuana was legalized, we would hear that typically they're isolated. People who use marijuana don't use other drugs, etc., are not violent. What percentage of before legalization, when you pull over somebody with the marijuana and you search the vehicle, do you find other drugs and weapons, etc.? Is it a big deal? Is it not a big deal?
I don't know percentage-wise, that's a good question. I know that we're finding half as much as we did, and I don't think we have less stops, do we? I don't know, it's a good question.
No, I couldn't give you a percentage on that, Tarek, but there's definitely a correlation. Because whether it's the individual in the vehicle that has, the methamphetamine, the fentanyl, the firearms with them, or it's the people they're associating with, the two generally go hand in hand.
Yeah, no, my question was how closely is it linked, people who are using marijuana with people who are using other drugs or having weapons?
That's a really good question. I just take a look at that because I'd have to dive into the complaints. Like I said, there used to be, 400, now there's 200, so that's how many complaints you'd be dragging into, but that's a good question because that information would actually be in those complaints. I wouldn't have to dig any farther.
Yeah, because that would help us, differentiate, because we were early on, we're saying, well, people who use marijuana, they don't use other drugs, they're non-violent, they're,
Well, I think the numbers themselves kind of tell you where it's at.
Yeah,
If we're down 50%, that would signal a pretty big correlation between the two.
I think I will find the correlation, but rather than thinking that, how about if we just know that? Because it's not that hard to look at those complaints. Because that's a really good way to frame the issue, because you're right, that's what everybody was told is no big deal. Well, clearly, if the numbers have gone in half, and that's
missing
really
something.
the only legal change.
So I've got kind of a
That's a good
simple question too. Is that, if law enforcement pulls over a vehicle and they smell or see the smoke coming out, wouldn't that be close to being the same as like an open bottle where it give you a chance to search?
No, the courts have said that the odor alone is no longer a valid reason. Now, if an officer saw, say, an open container of marijuana in
Oh,
the vehicle,
okay.
now they would potentially have grounds to at least seize what they see. Whether or not they have grounds to search further, probably not. I mean, maybe not.
Yeah,
It's hard because it's not just the marijuana, it's the paraphernalia.
Yeah.
Right, so some of these numbers could be down just simply because of the paraphernalia, that is no longer a crime. So if I saw a meth pipe sitting in a vehicle, I could search that vehicle. Now, it's not illegal to have a meth pipe. So can you really justify the search based off of that? I would err on the side of caution on that one. I'd look for something else, but I mean, you know, Janelle could speak to that more from the attorney side of things, but I'd be reluctant to search based off of just paraphernalia that's no longer illegal.
Yeah, I mean, he's absolutely right. It's called the Torgerson case, if you want to read it. Once the law changed, the law changed. And that was a policy-level decision against the advice of law enforcement, prosecutors, and the medical community. So we tried. The legislature made a different choice. And now, just in the first year, those are the numbers that we're seeing differently. But that's a good question, Tarek.
Okay.
And you wouldn't be the only one that'd be interested in the answer to that. The actual correlation is we can talk about facts then rather than opinions or
Yeah,
a
no,
general
that'd be good.
impression. No, that's a good question.
All right, my second question was for the chief, is how has it been working with Stearns County's office? Any issues?
Standing in
anything?
the room, I can't answer.
Please do.
Well, compared to the previous year, better?
It's been just fine. I don't
Okay.
think, I'm not even sure I had to call her this year, so.
He usually just calls the chief of my criminal division directly, because that's who's gonna be handling these cases. It's probably not gonna be me. If there's a big issue, he knows my phone number. He's not afraid to use it, and that's good.
Yeah, I don't,
Usually it's my criminal division chief.
yeah, I can't recall us having any significant issues. I think the working relationship has been good. I can't complain about it, so.
Okay. Well, good to hear.
And he would tell me too. I appreciate that. I can't fix it if I don't know what's wrong.
Any other questions, or?
Good.
Thanks for your flexibility and putting me on early. I'm gonna head to Bruton now and have the same conversation. But as I say every year, don't feel like it's just the time that I come out here with this report. Call me anytime. Obviously, Chief's got the BAT phone number. And if there's anything else that you need, please do let me know. But I'll report back on that.
Yeah.
Might take me a couple weeks here when I get through city council season, but
Okay.
that's an excellent question.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks, Janelle.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move into consent agenda.
Yep.
We had minutes, February 9th, Public Works, February 12th, Ad hoc Library, February 17th, EDAP Board, February 18th, Ad hoc Downtown, December 11, Ad hoc Library, November 13, Ad hoc Library. We have vouchers in the amount of $203,234.52. I would like to pull the MMBA conference request and discuss under new business.
All right. Put that under H, new business.
Page 3, gambling permit, Painesville Sportsman's Club, May 2nd at Queen Bee's, their annual, I believe, fish fry and game night. Also, we have the refuse licenses, 150 apiece, West Central Sanitation, LRS of Minnesota, Tom Kramer Incorporated, Waste Management of Minnesota. There was one from last year that didn't renew. And beer licenses, the same as last year, 125 each, Quick Trip, and these are the 3-2 license, Coronis Lanes and Painesville Baseball Club. And that'll take care of the consent agenda, except for the one I pulled. I have a motion.
Motion to approve the consent agenda except for the MMVA.
Second.
Second.
Motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, old business, Lewis Industries, tax abatement, attorney fees.
Yeah, we discussed this at the EDAP meeting, and the reason being that it was a complex transaction. We had to work with the county. The county also was hesitant at first, so the legal fees incurred in this were higher than anticipated. We brought this to EDAP. They discussed the merits of it, and of course, they did agree that they'll cover up to $6,500 of the legal bills. For this, they figured that it was fair to share some of the costs since there's a lot of things that we were working on as well. And now the recommendation is coming to council.
So EDAP is recommending to pay $6,500.
Yep, up to $6,500. That was it. That was the actual motion.
Any discussion or?
Yeah, I think we need to be careful in this, because if we set this for Lewis, who's next?
Well, in addition to agreeing to cover these costs, we are going to set some parameters going forward so that, number one, I think one of the issues that we lacked was better communication, so that when the legal costs are going up, that we notify the company or the developer, these are the costs, so that they're aware up front. In this case, they were not aware how quickly the legal costs were going up on this one. So number one is we have to have better communication and then outline upfront how we are going to, and how frequently we're going to notify them about the legal costs and potential how high they can go.
You think it would be wise to get those parameters first before we okay this, so they keep following through with it?
Well, the parameters are having better communication and being, letting them know when we're hitting the base target. For example, on a TIF agreement or TIF development, we asked for a retainer of $10,000 up front.
Okay, yep.
So usually when we run out, and for a TIF, you're usually slightly above that, but for abatement, it could vary. In this case, it went
Sure.
much higher. But to notify them, just to let them know, be aware that ahead of time that there could be legal costs that would go well above that. So I
Yeah,
guess it's just having better communication and letting them know ahead of time that just because you're putting this retainer down now, it doesn't mean that that's all inclusive. It means that there will be additional legal costs potentially.
Yeah, I think that's what we should do moving forward, but I'd be okay with the way it is right now. But just, in the future, make sure that we have, a mechanism in there where we can, we'll be more careful
Yep,
for both sides protection.
yeah, that's the whole point.
This was a very big project, and down the road, they're gonna be paying a lot of taxes. They already are, but. Any other discussion, or can we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to pay $6,500 of the Lewis Industries legal expenses related to their tax abatement with monies coming from the EDAP fund.
And second.
Motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, the next thing I think we wanted to table
Okay,
till we figure out a little bit more.
all right, I'll note that as table.
Can I I add one thing in here then, if we're gonna table it? Is that normally we get 3 quotes, we only got 2 this time. So if we can pass that along, maybe have Kevin Hartman come up with a different, an additional quote.
Well, on a lot of things, I know we only get 2 on Public Works.
Yeah, well, for some reason, I was under the understanding that we're supposed to get 3.
I know 2, you gotta have 2, but
At least.
And usually they say where they're from. Not that that matters.
The quotes?
Yeah, like what,
Oh, on
say.
the trail meeting, we did have a listing of where they're from. I'm not sure if it was in this packet or not, maybe not then.
I think when we were at the meeting, I think they were both, what do you call it, state bids.
Yeah? I don't remember where they came from, but yeah, I just know that there were 2 separate bids and they had them, he had them listed there from,
Because somebody asked about local, like A&C, and they couldn't come up even with that unit, I guess.
okay. Well, if we're tabling it for now, well, I'll make sure that when we bring it back, we have both detailed.
No, okay. Then we're old business C, Glacial Lakes Extension Segment 1, scope of the work. I think, Chuck, that one is yours.
Yeah, this is what we talked about last, couple weeks ago at the meeting about, with the funding on that particular project, with the federal funding plan for 27, there's certain, we gotta start working on the environmental review and design portion of that project, to meet the timeframes associated with that funding. So that's the portion along Highway 55. And that's also the segment we're submitting an application to the DNR on as well to help match the federal funds, so. So in your packet is just a memo that outlines the scope of work associated with, getting the design completed and getting it ready for bidding, a year or so from now.
So the big question is, where's the money gonna come from?
I did talk a little bit with Belinda. The trail fund was like 11,000 in the hole. And she said there was still a grant from last year that's coming, but I don't know what the amount. So we aren't a true 11,000 in the hole. But how much do we put in the trail fund, is it?
20,000?
That's all.
But I think, yeah, in discussing this internally, we kind of feel that we can cover the 30,000 plus additional shortfall. What we would like to do then is consider, similar to what we did with the MP Park Shelter, a loan to the fund, which will be repaid in
Right.
however many number of years we decide, 4 years, 3 years. And what that would mean then is if we were to do 60,000, for example, over 4 years, that's 15,000 per year. We would just have to make sure that every year the transfer to the fund is increased by an additional 15,000 for those years.
We could even go 6 or 8 years to make it workable, probably, huh?
We could.
Because at 20, and that's another issue that we'll be talking about, but our bill for the 50/50 on the trail alone this year was what, 15?
I'm not sure.
I got it at home, it was ridiculous, but, yeah. But I'm not against, this trail needs to get done, and I'm not against,
And I'm pretty sure the trail CIP is negative. Let me see, pull it up here. My computer's slow.
the trail will, basically, when it's all done, 3 phases. The one phase is done from by Fleet, following Highway 130 out to where those storage sheds are. And then this phase is from Fleet to Burr Street in, what what used to be the Black Saucer Apartments. So connecting those in phase 3 is from the storage sheds following that solar garden on the other side of Bork Lumber to the trail that's going to be going to Roscoe. That's completed, but it's not tarred. And we're working on that also.
All right, let's see here. Park. Yeah, where it says here we're sitting at 8264 and the park fund, but I don't see the trail fund here. I'll pull it up separately.
Well, a couple weeks ago, it was a minus 11,000.
Yep.
And I don't know what that grant, didn't ask what their grant.
No, I don't have the final number up here. That's not the, what I was looking for. But my recommendation would be to do a loan to the fund to help cover this cost, bring it back into the positive, and then also have some leverage in it so we can cover any additional expenses that come our way throughout the year.
Which fund is this gonna come from?
This will just be a loan similar to what we did with the Ampey Park shelter.
Okay. Because I'm looking at the, making a motion to approve this, but it says, city's portion of 30,000, can make sure we got the fund right. So that, would you say Ampey Park?
It's the same fund that we, the general fund where we took because that's who we're paying it back to.
Then I'll just use, say general fund.
Yeah.
That'll work?
So basically reserves,
It's reserves.
yeah,
And we pay it back to ourselves.
right.
It would be interest-free and we would set the number of years.
Okay.
Any other discussion?
My recommendation would be to go above the 60,000 because we're already in the negative. I would suggest 80,000 and we can pay it back over a minimum of 4 years, but
Well, we only need 30.
we have a negative that we're trying to resolve the balance of.
True.
I mean, we can say up to 80 if you want, or up to 60, but I just feel we should give ourselves a little extra in there so we don't have to come back and borrow some more.
But we're gonna be getting our 26 funding,
Yeah,
which hopefully should cover our trail expense.
that would cover the immediate trail expense.
I know we can adjust it then.
If you feel you want to adjust it then we could do that too.
Yeah. Let's take enough now to cover it. and-
Okay?
So are we ready for motion, Neil?
Huh?
Are we ready for motion?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna make a motion to allow Bolton and Mank Incorporated to move forward with the design and completion of the environmental review in the amount of up to $80,000 for segment 1 of the Glacier Lakes Trail project, with the city's portion of $80,000 to come from the general fund interest-free with the amount of years to be paid back to be determined.
We should set the number of years now. And then Bolton and Menk, you're only looking, Chuck, for 30,000 for this initial, immediate amount?
It's 60, so yeah, it would be 50/50.
So I misspoke, instead of, the first time I said 80,000, it should have been 60.
Yeah,
Okay, but with the city's portion of 30,000 to come from, the general fund, but for the city to have the ability to borrow up to 80,000 of that.
okay.
I know the way I explained it's kind of choppy, I don't know if you want to clear that up, Tarek.
And then term length,
6 years.
6 years, okay, interest-free. All right, so I have a motion to borrow from the general fund up to $80,000 to be borrowed from the general fund, similar to what we did with Ampey Park, interest-free up to 6 years, and then to use 60,000 to pay Bolton and Menk. Obviously, 50% will be city, 50% will be township, with the portion coming from this money.
One second.
we got a motion and a second, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Okay, Janelle, what's you? Let's bring up the tabled item from consent.
All right, that'll be item H I put down here under new business, which
Yeah.
would be council member break attending MMBA conference.
I had a couple questions. Is she on the liquor board?
No,
No.
It kinda, I'd prefer people that were on the board go to the meeting. And secondly, we're trying to conserve as much as we can. We've cut back, when I first came on council, anything there was, we went to and got paid to go, and we'd go to the winter retreat, the annual summer, and things like this. I think we should be cutting back as much as we can. I go to one a year, and normally it's the winter one that got canceled, so I'm probably not going to any this year.
yeah,
But I think if she was on the board, I'd feel differently. But I think it should be for people that are on that particular board.
I know from talking to Megan that this is probably gonna be her one event a year, but also a couple of years ago, I think the liquor board was kind of encouraging more activity and participation in attending MMBA so they can get a feel for what they do there and the activities and some of the new rules and
Because we got-
regulations that come up.
Jean Soini, who is on the board, is going.
Jean's on, she's on the
And
board. and she's
Bill
on-
will be going.
Yep, Bill and Belinda will be going.
Okay.
So,
I think that's a no.
oh, I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
No, that's just, I'm done.
Okay, when I was looking at this, it's just the one line item with Gene going in there. I don't have any issue with that happening. The only issue that is coming up is, it's $800 per member. And it would almost make sense just to include Gene on that too, because she's on the liquor board.
As far as I know, she will be going.
Okay, is that gonna be an additional $799?
For her, it would be, yep.
Okay, is that gonna come out of the city's fund?
No,
Okay.
liquor board, or liquor.
Okay, so we're looking at, $799 for Megan, $799 for Gene.
That's from council, yep,
Okay, and then, Megan's gonna be getting the per diem, right?
yeah,
But Gene won't?
no. she
Okay,
won't get per diem.
that's what I thought. And then, but Gene, could Gene put the miles down since Megan doesn't drive? That's kind of a toss-up.
Yeah, I'm not, I'll have to look into that, because, yeah, if they go, they will go together.
Yeah, because they're obviously gonna be sharing rooms.
Yeah, if they go, they'll go together.
Oh, this is a tough one.
I mean, I see Neil's point, and I see your point, Paul, too.
Well, I think it'd be good for Jean to go, because she's pretty involved with the liquor board.
I think she's gone to that once before.
Yep, yep. And, I agree with that part. If this is Megan's only one she's going to this year,
As far as I know, it is, because she hasn't signed up for any others, including the one in June.
yep, okay.
Well, then, looking at this, her and Jean are gonna share a room, correct?
That's my understanding.
So if I add it up in my head, which usually is pretty accurate, it comes in below $799. If you, because the room should be 140 for the both of them.
Yeah,
Then, well, I suppose if we're figuring the room on city,
yeah, it says they're together.
Yeah,
because I guess I didn't realize Jean is paying her own way to this. I thought the city was,
yeah, for her on the à la carte menu,
the city's not paying for Jean's,
No, it's not, if Megan were to go, because she's a council member, it would come out of the council
yeah.
budget.
But then Jane,
we had to pay for Jean's,
Jean would come out of the liquor store.
okay, right, okay.
so she would get the member pricing, I'm presuming?
We already have it as member pricing at one.
Gotcha, okay, then we'll leave it at that.
Because if they're sharing a room, the room expense is 140 a night
Yeah,
for the two of them. So then you're further ahead to pay the 135 a member and whichever meals they want. You guys can look at that in whichever way it comes out to, but I mean, $50 here is $50 there. I don't know, I guess if she's not going to Rochester, I can approve it. I thought this was a, where
So
we're
did I.
back to going to everything
oh,
that's.
no. She has not signed up for Rochester.
But being as I pulled it, I guess we should have a motion and approve.
All right,
I'll make the motion to allow Councilmember Brick to attend Minnesota Municipal Beverage Association Annual Conference, Brainerd, April 18 to 21.
okay.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Oh. We have a liquor store transfer.
Yep, we are in need to do a liquor store transfer to help cover the bond payment that we have coming up. Bond payment is not coming up for a couple of months, but we are requesting that we have permission to do the transfer.
It's pretty self-explanatory, isn't it?
Yeah, and you have the information on the bond payment here too.
And that's, if I look at it, let's see.
On page 21 of the packet, it says here the payment due June 15th of $79,949.31.
Yep.
So that'll be the first half payment. Second half payment is less.
So we're making 4 payments a year.
We are doing 2 payments a year. One in the middle of the year, one at the end of the year.
So the first
Oh,
one,
yeah, 26.
Due is June 15th?
26 and 27. Yep, 2 a year. Okey dokey. Well, then I need a motion and a second if we want to approve this.
Motion to transfer the necessary funds from Liquor Fund 105 to Liquor Capital Improvement Fund 106 on a semi-annual basis to cover the bond payment and add this to the annual budgeted transfers and eliminate the need to bring this to council every year.
Is there a second?
second,
Motion and second to approve the liquor transfer so we can pay for our new building. All in favor?
aye.
Opposed? Carried. Public Works, purchase of some irrigator wheels. This went to our public meeting last, 2 weeks ago, Monday. And Pivot 22 needs some repairs. And we're looking, I believe it was 14, yeah, 14 new wheels. There's 2 on each pivot, so there must be 7 sections, so. They got 2 bids, Hydro Engineering, 15,053.87 cents. Minnesota Valley, 17,375. The committee recommended the Hydro Engineering at the lower bid. And he did a bunch of comparison and different tires and what's worked and what hasn't worked. A couple of years ago, they bought some tires that were solid rubber that were supposed to be the cat's meow, never go flat, but they didn't work out so great, so we're back to these are what the guys that work out there recommend.
And to my knowledge, these are a little bit wider too, so they should get better traction.
Yes, yep. And I did read it say, I'm not sure what the warranty covers, but it says 8-year, 8,000-hour warranty, which I imagine is not for a flat, because anything that runs over and gets cut, but I imagine it's for wearing out or a crack, or so that's something too.
So I did some research on this today.
And this money would be coming out of the sewer fund.
Okay.
Right, so in March of 27th of 2023 is when Hydro Engineering mentioned that these new tires would be working better than the ones that were tube, that were not solid. But apparently if they're not working, we might as well move up as long as.
And they were twice as expensive and,
$6,000 for 2 sets.
yeah,
So
so,
this is gonna be cheaper.
so we figured that
Yeah.
this was a better,
So I'm okay with it.
Is that a motion?
any other discussion or a motion? And
I'll go ahead and make the motion to approve the quote from Hydro Engineering in the amount of $15,053.87. Irrigator tire wheel assemblies with monies coming from the sewer capital improvement fund.
And second.
Motion and second to approve 14 sets of tires for the Pivot 22. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. You want to spend a little more for our irrigation project? And this was the same pivot. The nozzles, the spraying nozzles are done their job and we need new ones. And we got bids from the same 2 companies. Hydro is 10,160, Minnesota Valley 12,320. And the monies would come from sewer capital improvement fund. So recommendation is to go with them.
All right, guess I'll make a motion to approve the quote from Hydro Engineering in the amount of $10,160.54 for sprinklers / regulators with monies to come from the sewer capital improvement fund.
Second.
Motion and second to buy new sprinklers for Pivot 22. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay. The library funding.
Yep, library board met, and as I mentioned, we met with Whitsett, the architect. They sent us a proposal, it says up to $5,000 to help search for and apply for any grants or any applications that we could use to help fund the library. They said they may or may not use that entire amount, but they said it will be capped at $5,000. And the library board is recommending that we do the same thing we did with the architect fee, which is split it 3 ways. 1/3 city, 1/3 Painesville Foundation, 1/3 Friends of the Library. So it'll be $1,666.66 of the city's portion.
And where would that money come from?
It would come from the library fund.
There's money there?
There's not much money there.
Well, what do they have in the foundation earmarked for the library?
I've got a couple different numbers, so I don't have a specific amount, but it's more than 50 and less than 150.
I thought it was 500,000 at one time.
It was pledged.
Maybe pledged, but I think they differentiate between pledged and actually in the,
Well, there is money there.
But it's not there.
Well,
We're waiting for it to come in.
this whole thing is kind of sketchy, but
Well, I think the city should take care of their part and let the two other concerns worry about it that way. Because if Woodseth is not gonna do the work until it's paid up front, then what happens next?
I know, but a part of me wonders if we're climbing a hill and we're never gonna get to the top. We're gonna run out of money before we're even halfway.
well, in the grand scheme of things, this is not a lot of money, but.
No, but-
It would require, yeah, the other two entities are willing to participate.
I say we move forward just to do our part and let them worry about it, the other part that they're gonna have to come up with. And this doesn't even have to stop with Woodseth, they can keep moving with the, any other issues that may come along.
I'm very mixed on the whole thing. You know, like it says on paragraph 2, the city has already secured a lot. What is the value of that? And we're getting, you know, it's thank you if we're lucky.
Between the 3 lots we have, I would say their value is 100,000.
I was gonna say 100
Yep.
in today's market easily. If we're paying twice that for dilapidated buildings that need to be torn down.
It appears that the
We've
city
already
is,
coughed up 100 that I have yet to hear a thank you.
and the way I see it is that the city has carried its weight so far. So I understand where you're coming from, Neil. Is that, the other entities need to come up with their part. It's just a matter of, do we move forward with this, do we table it, and discuss it later?
Well, I mean, the 1,600 isn't a big deal, but it's like I say, we're climbing this hill that we're,
Then you're gonna have to figure out how far up the hill you wanna climb.
how much money you want to throw away before you pull the plug. So I'm real, my scale doesn't balance.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and make the motion, and then, see where this ends up, and then, I mean, is at some point in time, the plug can always get pulled, if you know what I mean. So I'll make the motion to proceed with the Woodseth Funding Assistance Proposal in the amount of $5,000 to be split equally with the City of Painesville, Friends of the Library, and Painesville Area Foundation, with the city's amount being $1,666.66.
Is there a second?
I will second it.
Your second? Okay, we have a motion and a second to proceed with the proposal from Wilseth for 5,000 to be split between city, Friends of the Library, and Painesville Area Foundation. City's amount being $1,666.66. All in favor?
Aye.
Was that 1 or 2?
Listen,
Opposed? Aye. Carried 2-1. Okay. Who knows anything about the snow equipment
I hope Chuck does.
to the airport?
I hope he's still here. Well, here he is.
I can take this one.
Okay.
So over the past year, obviously, as the city's taken on their own snow removal operations, one of the things that we've talked with Dan about, and Dan actually brought up, is with our funding out at the airport, with federal and state funding, we are able to purchase snow removal equipment for the airport. So one of the things Dan talked about is getting a loader out there with a blower and a broom and a wing attachment to help remove snow at the airport. The city can use their entitlement funds as well as their bill funds to cover the vast majority of the cost of the loader. Right now, it's projected to be an overall total cost of $495,000 for all the loader and the components, with the federal share covering 95% of that, the state covering 2.5%, and then the city's share would be 2.5%, or estimated to be about $12,375. With that, if the council wants to move forward, it'd be your typical process with the FAA and state, where we'd advertise for bid here in the next week or so, open bids in April, bring those bids back for council consideration in late April, and then basically we submit the grant request to the FAA and MnDOT, and typically we don't get the grants back until that August, September timeframe, at that point we'd move forward with the actual purchase, so.
And,
I have one question.
yes,
Tarek, maybe you can help me out with this. How much was the city paying per year for snow removal for the airport?
We didn't separate just by airport. I don't have it.
Oh, we don't know how much was it?
I mean, I
That was through Public Works, right?
I know we had the contract for, it was a per hourly rate, but that was for the entire city, including the airport.
Oh, okay.
I did talk to Dan and Belinda. When we're done with snow, which hopefully is, they're gonna do an annual report, hours and cost, and compare to the last 2-3 years, so we know where we are. Just a couple of comments. This money would come out of the airport capital improvement fund, which has money there. I think this is a no-brainer. The only thing is, by the book, this equipment is only for airport usage.
By the book.
But talking to Dan, the payloader, it's gonna need fuel, so we drive it from there to Cinex to get fuel. If we do a little cleanup there and back, nobody's gonna, I mean, if they don't hear about it,
We don't hear about it, oh well.
streets probably ain't gonna happen, but a parking lot here and there probably could.
Yeah,
I don't want to hear about it.
I know nothing. I'm gonna make the motion to authorize Bolton and Mank to prepare the bidding documents and advertise for snow removal equipment bids.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve Bolton and Mate to prepare bidding documents for the snow removal equipment for the airport. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried. Okay. Orderly annexation agreement. Tarek?
Yep, this is a letter that we drafted. We'd like to send it to the township so we can formally set up a time with them and discuss our orderly annexation agreement. It was drafted with the help of our city attorney. I'm sure you guys had a chance to read it. It's just a formal letter we want to send out to them, letting them know that we're interested in trying to, update some of the terms of that agreement.
That'll give us an idea of where the temperature's gonna be moving forward.
Well, I mean, we feel that there are a couple of terms in there that we would like to revise.
I mean, we gotta start someplace.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Talk about it and try to,
But Yeah, let's
You're
start
like
here.
the big boys and,
Well, we haven't talked about it in 2 years, so we
Right.
need to get the ball rolling.
Yeah, some of these agreements are
and
15 and 20 years old.
the letter looks very legal.
Yeah.
I think it's a good start.
Okay?
So we need a motion and a second to send the letter.
To sign, I don't know if you're signing or Sean, but we'll see at the end here.
Okay.
The final one.
I'd be happy to.
All right. Motion?
I'll make the motion to approve and send the letter and 2 resolutions to Painesville Township regarding the orderly annexation agreement.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried. Informational. Monthly meetings, schedules for April and May, and the February month-end reports are on the city website. With that, we'll adjourn.
All right.
Well, thank everybody for attending. We are adjourned.